then, sorry, just getting set up. There we go. So we want here a content creation person. So this is the person that doesn't focus so much on directly with the community, but is doing the creative. And I would say blog posts, so they may have a journalist background or something like that. Oh, and if they know SEO, that's also an interesting one. I know, video. Hey, me. I'm crap at it. So creating and editing, and I'm not looking for distribution at this point in time, but just that they know how to put on lower thirds and how to do a swipe and all that kind of stuff. Photography, and then I'd put for IG because it's in the vertical. And at this point in time, I'm not looking for tools, so they don't need to necessarily know what tools are that they would use, but it is interesting for them to, I guess, to be able to say, oh, I'm familiar with Adobe, or I'm familiar with Final Cut Pro, or I'm familiar with some of the apps on the iPhone like Filmic Pro or something like that. So I'm always looking for tools, but then again, I'm nosy. I like to know what people are using out there. Let me see. Do you like creating videos or photos? Are you a visual person, or are you a wordsmith and like to write content? And I should mention, people specialize. So for blog posts, you would study how to write great content and then how to write great content for the web. There's a connection of mine on LinkedIn called Stephen Lewis, Stephen with a V, I hope. And he can help you in that area. And obviously there's a lot of other people as well. So let's keep going. Photography for IG. I'm going to put here Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Interesting how many people are great at writing content for one of the platforms, not the other one. And that, like, for instance, they'll go to LinkedIn and they'll suddenly become all formal, and we, the company, would like to announce that. And then on Facebook and Twitter, they're more, I don't know. I'm going to put here OC. This is original content. So it's not curating. It's creating, it's writing. I got to get a move on, or this is going to take an hour. And then email newsletters. Please let me know if you can hear me and if everything's okay. And also if you can see my screen. In fact, let's make this a little bit bigger for the time being, because some of you are lazing around, looking at stuff on your iPhone, and up bobs my live stream, and there you are. I need to know you can see it on your phone. Let me keep going here. I just want to check my account. Yes, that's already up and running. Great. What else do we have here? Let me see. Oh, content distribution is a different skill. So I'm not going to ask these social media managers to create a video and edit a video, but I will ask them to take control of the distribution. And thanks, Paul. Thanks, Wild. I appreciate that. Both of you on Facebook. You can hear me clearly. Fantastic. So content distribution is the Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. But unlike up here where it's original content, here it's the wrapping. So, for instance, when we're doing major launches for TV and film and entertainment, we will ask them to come up with a content calendar to wrap around the trailer. So the trailer is created somewhere else, but then they need to have the skills to, and it's not full on writing an essay, it's just, can you wrap this in an engaging way so that it's distributed into networks with all the, the clear semantics that the semantic engine algorithm needs behind it. Posting in general. And Vintuitive is on the iPhone watching me on YouTube and can hear me. Hello. Didn't you used to be a neighbour of mine? Bondi or somewhere? I'm up in the Blue Mountains now. I do miss Bondi Beach. Using hashtags, because hashtags is a form of distribution. I'm going to make that bold. Did I make that one bold? No, I didn't. And so I want to know that if somebody's taking a policy document and posting it up for government, that they know which hashtags to use to make sure that it's distributed clearly. And obviously with that, we need tagging, including influencers and other accounts and pages and things like that. Let's keep going. Press tagging. I'll just put slightly differently because you don't necessarily want the intern to be tagging journalists. You may want to take some control of that. Content distribution, optimizing the content, and I specifically would be looking at algorithms, although I want to include another job, which is the algorithm engineer. We'll get to that one later. By the way, if you don't have time to sit and watch this right now, just bookmark it, come back to it, and then skip to the end. I don't expect people to sit through a live stream with me. The reason I'm doing them as a live stream is because I wouldn't do this. And I want to take this spreadsheet, embed it in my blog so people can download it, and then I want to write it up as a blog post, and it just keeps me honest with you guys here. So some of you, not all of you. Right, content calendar. And I was going to put this on the same line, but I think I'm going to put it underneath because people get them confused. It's a programming guide. So the content calendar is saying we've got all this content to go out, and the programming guide is setting up a series, or saying every Monday morning is jobs and every Friday afternoon is weekend, or fan photo Friday, or something like that. So the content calendar and the programming guide go together, but normally people have put all the content together and then they just pull from the pool and put it up kind of when suits them. A programming guide will say Monday mornings is this, Wednesdays this. So even if you've got an empty bucket of content, you still have a programming guide. I don't want to get into explaining too much. We just need to keep going. And I would say business manager, which reminds me, I want to put up here the first specialist is agency and hauler brands. So any brand that's got lots and lots of brands and lots of audiences, that's a specialist type of job. And an agency often has lots and lots of different clients. So not all of their social media managers would be au fait with government, B2B, non-profit, hairdressing salons, accountancies, all kind of things. So, and the business manager is definitely one for the agency. All right, let's keep going. What else? I'm just looking at my notes. Marketing and content curation. So I'm specifically looking here at RSS feeds, monitoring dashboards. Monitoring dashboards. Don't confuse other kinds of social media toolbox platforms. Monitoring is a very specific one, and it's both our stuff and their stuff. So it's me media and their media. Like, what's the government saying, or what's the whatever saying? So we'll say gov monitoring, press monitoring, and I think maybe just there's a dark art to monitoring Facebook and IG. You have to use some specialist tools because they don't offer an RSS feed. So there's a few solutions that you can use for that. I use monitoring for two reasons. One is for crisis comms. Actually, let's put that one in. I want to know, what the rabble are up to and what they're saying. And then the other one is I need to find the trending topics so that we can riff off of them in the channel, because the algorithm is picking up on the fact that that topic, it could be floods, it could be It could be lockdown. It could be a report that's come out in the industry that's specific for their audience, and the algorithm picks up on our audience, what they're talking about, and then makes sure our content gets through to them. You don't always need the 28 days to do that. I'll make that one a bold one. All right, PR. Crisis Comms has two roles. It has a CSR role and a PR role. The CSR is dealing with the moderating of the comments front of house, and PR is directing the Crisis Comms strategy to the CSRs. Oh, does that make sense? Anyway, James Lynch. Hey, hi, on Facebooks. You guys need to be pitching in and telling me what else to put in, because I'm lazy. And the reason I'm doing this is so that you can help me do this. But anyway, Crisis Comms and PR. This is the moderating role. Can I fit that in? No. It's okay. We have the power of technology. Don't you love Google Sheets? It means I can share this at the end. And I will. And then I'm going to tell people who call me and email me just a really quick question: how do I hire a social media manager? I can go look at the spreadsheet. And then if you want to hire me to help you hire a social media manager, then you can talk to me. But I think this will fix most people's questions. So escalation charts. We put in who to call, what time, when, and then if they don't respond, who we need to call. And that's legal, PR, directors, ASIO. Seriously. Legal, PR. I'm just going to put ASIO in there for gits and shiggles. For some of the stuff when we're working with children, we have really intense escalation charts, which reminds me they're blue carded to work with children online. Or if you have a product that appeals to children, even if they're not the direct target audience. So if you're Lego, and even if you know you're talking to the parents, make sure your admins are blue carded to work with kids. Blue carded, if you're from overseas, is where police checked that they're cleared and that there's nothing in their background. Legal, like teachers get here. Legal, PR, ASIO. Stock market. This goes under regulations, so you have to report back to the market if anything happens on social media that's a bit crappy and is going to impact the stock price. So probably a good idea would be that they have some idea about regulations and things. How to document a crisis, I think, is important. Documenting crisis. Like the reports are very specific and they include the secret codes of that trolls or that threats account. So there's secret numbers and secret things you can get hold of. Specialist skill, which is why I'm putting it in as a separate social media job. How to respond. And if your social media manager starts off with "we apologize," they're probably not the right people without training to work in crisis comms. That'll put you in legal hot water if you apologize for something that's not true. I'm all for apologizing if you're late in delivering stuff, but always, always, always check before apologizing with legal, because it's an admission. We're sorry you had that experience is the politician's apology. Don't do that. And we're sorry that we did this to you, immediately puts you in hot water. So there's lots of different responses. Apologizing is one of them, but it's not the only one. I got to turn this into a job, not a training thing. Versus regulations. It's a specialist skill, but understanding regulations. So let's put up here pharmaceutical. As an example, pharmaceuticals, just all about the regulations. They're fun. What a fun group. All right, so we'll put that X in there for pharmacy. The Facebook and IG tools for moderating. So for instance, you can hide, why did I do that? You can hide a post so only the person who posted it and their friends can see it. And also there are things like under regulations that you cannot remove a negative comment if you're allowing positive comments. So regulatory affairs will be on to you if you delete everything negative and allow the positive. It's a pain. And being able to plan and implement, I think, a crisis comms plan, which comes under PR, in a way that CSRs can know immediately that they've got a book to go to and check. This is how we're going to respond. Okay, what are we up to? Let's see. How long have I been going for? I think too long. Sorry. Boring. I know. What can I say? I'm going to put in here analytics and insights. It may not be a separate job. It depends. But it is an interesting area to know that the person knows how to read the analytics and insights. I see agency reports that simply say your page grew by 10 more followers and had 3 more engagements than last week. We need more than that. The tools and also the CSV. People don't know they can download the CSVs, the spreadsheets with all of the data for every platform. And then there are inbuilt tools and there are third-party tools. What else do we need? I think the ability to write reports that are meaningful. And to be honest, an executive summary. Often the first paragraph is the one that majority of the people, all of whom want the reports, but only read the first executive summary. And I guess if it's meaningful, we need to put actionable. You had this month, and then you need to do this to continue that, or we're expecting this and all that kind of stuff. Maybe some, I'll put KPIs and over time here. Is that what I want? Yeah, okay. So when we're working with a 13-week TV show, we want to see we want to check back over last year as our baseline and then predict over 13 weeks what's going to happen. And then also the spike that happens on the first week, the third week and the last week. It's campaign-based. Actionable and next actions. I don't know that I would put this with a specifically analytics and insight person, but I definitely want someone on the team to look at the analytics and insights and tell us how to action those insights. We want executive summary. Did I write that one? No. And in depth. Oh, that's fine. What else would you put under analytics and insights? I feel like I'm missing a couple of things. My brain's not working. Gary's gone out, so there's no coffee for me. Somebody sing coffee. Right, let's go down here again. And we're going to do here social ads. This is bought attention. So some of the other things have been passive, like monitoring or analytics and insights, sort of passive. And then others are me media, so creating content, distributing content. Social ads are bought attention, not owned attention, not earned attention. So and it's a dark art. It reminds me of dark posting. What else do I want? The creative, which is the image, the video, and the text, that they know how to do that. What else do we need on social ads? We need, campaigns. Campaigns for ads is different than campaigns for social media. So social media campaigns are viral spiked events that run over weeks, months. And with social ads, I need A/B testing. You're kind of following what the Facebooks and the Twitters call campaigns. A/B testing. I want lead gen. So messenger ads where they click and they fill in the details and it gets sent to you. I want to put in here warm and cold, there's quite a difference in advertising between warm leads and cold leads. And your call to action, should I put in call to action and funnels here? I'm not sure. Your call to action and your funnels are quite different, which reminds me, coupons and the stuff that's built into platforms, so that we're not, just putting click here for a coupon rather and then sending them off somewhere, rather than using the built-in coupons in the platforms. Like, how well do they know the tech of the platform? I guess is what I'm saying. Yes, paid traffic is different then. When you have an owned channel, they already signed up for your email newsletter or whatever. Oh, that reminds me, pixel retargeting for warm traffic. And I guess, can we put it on the same line? No, probably not. We want to have... it is the same. Custom audiences, like uploading your newsletter list so that you can do ads for your newsletter list because they're a warm audience. Pixel retargeting. I want them to explain to me the dollar spend per ROI. And the ROI could be marketing. It could be, so, hey, 2,000 people downloaded your ebook. Or the dollar spend, and it's free, or the dollar spend could be per coupon or per something. I don't know. Just ask them the question in the interview. Get them to tell you. I did mention this, funnels for CTA, call to action. What does the funnel look like if you're using ads? And where does the ad sit in the funnel and the ad is not the funnel? People think that they can come straight in and go, click here to buy my $4,000 course, which you can, by the way. But I wouldn't expect that to work. Not without some other kind of stuff wrapped around it. So that's what a funnel is. It's the stuff wrapped around it. It takes them from this step to this step to this step to this step. Did that work? No. Anyway, it's a funnel. Goes like that and then comes in. Is there anything else in here that we need to add? Look, there are people, a lot of people. This is a very hot, popular area for social media manager jobs is, I don't want to do all that community stuff. Just buy me the attention. Just get people to purchase from me. And I'm fine with that. But I would say, that there are other areas that are sorely lacking. And if you're having trouble finding a job as a social media manager, then you might want to go and have a look at some of the areas that are not doing so well. The flip side of that, of course, is that everybody on the planet wants to spend $10 a day on ads and make $50,000, which is possible, and we've done it, but we did a lot of other work around it too. I'm going to move on because this is seriously taking way longer than I thought. Remember, this spreadsheet will be available later. I will go in and I'll do a comment. If I can't edit like Twitter, I'll have to do a comment or I'll edit the description or something and give you the link so you can download these. But I'm going to call this guy the algorithm engineer. It's close to my heart. I do love algorithms. So they have to understand the data sets and semantic engines and whatever. At least know enough to say that I'm not an expert in that area, or I've got a reasonable understanding, or I've got a basic understanding. No understanding at all is going to be problematic for almost every social media manager. And I want actionable insights from understanding that algorithm. I think they should also, I'm just going to go through these because I always miss one. They need to know the 2-hour, I think there's a 12-hour one, 24-hour, like the last action 50 data set is over 24 hours. Did they interact with you in the last 24 hours? Then they'll see the next post. We have the MAU, which runs on a 28-day. MAU is monthly active user. Oh, there's is it 10 or 12 day? That's for ads. Don't run your ads for less than 10 days because they get optimized on the 10th day. So those kind of understanding of, what was it called? Timelines? I don't know. Social graph, economic graph. One's LinkedIn, one's Facebook. Oh, yes, story types. Visual, text. The head of Facebook algorithm said that if people like pictures and videos, they get more pictures and videos. But if they read articles, they get more text and links. In other words, if you're putting up pictures to a text audience, like a reading audience, like, I don't know, if you're an author or an editor or a publishing house, then stick with your reading story types. I would say big data and separate line, third-party partners that work with Facebook and Twitter to provide them the additional community-based data like credit cards, knocking my mic, credit cards, Ukiera, and loyalty cards and check-ins at gyms and things like that. If anybody's checking into a gym these days. Social sales. Look, I would say the basic stuff would be integrating Shopify into Facebook pages. I'll put Magento just to not be to be agnostic, platform agnostic. That's me. Oh, I want to talk about, if social sales is important and the person's presenting themselves as a social media manager with experience in social sales, then they really need to know about Facebook stores, the commerce manager, Instagram shops, all that kind of stuff. And some of them, and this works perfectly fine, especially for small businesses, might say, oh, well, I'm experienced in setting up Etsy, or I'm experienced in setting up your shop on eBay or something, which is great. But for the social media part is how do you distribute those assets, those social media products and services? And, Facebook has all these rules and regulations. Did you know that I'm not supposed to have a Facebook store because I don't have a physical product? Thanks, Facebook, for the trust and the love. Commerce manager. I'll put that one in agency. I need to fill this in. What else do we need up here? Gov. So working with government departments, working with ministers of parliament, working with local council, all different. NFPs, not-for-profits, non-profit. Where would you put libraries? I guess it's under Gov. FMCG is different, fast-moving consumer goods. Very few people are loyal to a toilet roll, to Coca-Cola, to Skittles. So it's all deflection social media campaigns, which is a dark art. If somebody has experience in that, that's fantastic. Small biz, B2C, and then small biz, B2B. You don't want them putting up the fluffy cat videos on B2B unless it's flipping a vets or something. Hello to my vet clients. I've got quite a few at the moment. I've just got a little list here, but I can't read it. Luxury products is different. Luxury, fashion, makeup, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of social media managers that want to work in that space. They want to work with the brands. They know that the influencer industry is really well established and that it's a fantastic opportunity to do a little bit more than just posting up a couple times a week, for a small local business. But it's inundated. And actually one of the jobs which would be interesting I'll do that in a moment. I want to do that later. Is relationship management, which includes managing influences. So talent management. Industry orgs. The frenemy. Managing an industry org, social media, is interesting because everybody is a competitor in their network. So it's a frenemy network. It's we're stronger together, but we still are frenemies. I'll say research, like CSIRO, maybe academia, unis, but not student acquisition, international student acquisition and domestic. That's a different deal, but let's just put in that one. Hello to my unis. And then one that I work in a lot is entertainment. So that's viral spikes around 13 weeks for TV shows or a few weeks for films, but you're doing a lot of preparatory campaign building beforehand to raise awareness that show will be starting on Sunday night, or that movie will be launching in the theatres on Thursday. If people still go to the movies, theatre, cinema, blah, blah. Oh, I've got to get a move on. This is just taking way too long. Social media strategist. Strategist is not a content calendar creator. It's working with a whole of organization with many, many core audiences. So we need to put down audiences. We want core, we want saved, we want custom, we want lookalike. Because that's going to impact who and where you talk to people. I want to do purpose and values. So each audience has a different reason for connecting with you. So seniors have a reason for connecting with you that'll be different than young people, which will be different than families, which will be different than tradies, which will be different than business people. So if you've got a whole of brands, purpose is going to be a challenge. I'm going to also put in here the different reasons why the company would want to do this. So employer branding. And if you're an expert in employer branding, you know that it's completely different than social sales. Not completely different, but we want the CSR, we want PR. And so the company has different purpose as well as the people that connect with you. So once you know your audience, you know, like I want to talk to graduates to talk to them about employer branding, then you know that you have to speak to them on a different social space, which is platform. Invest your time where your customers are investing their time, stakeholders, and invest your time when they're investing their time. What else do we have here? Communities of interest. Communities of interest, hashtags, maybe influencers. So when you're on a social space or a platform like Instagram, then you have to identify the communities of interest around the hashtags and the influencers and things like that make up that community. What else do we have? Coming into the last few now, I think. Last few for me. There's probably 50 million more. What else do we need to do? Once we know these guys, we know who we're talking to, what we want to talk to them about, what they want to hear from us, what platform we need to be on, what hashtags to use, what influencers to connect with. Then we need to do voice, edu-social. So are you going to do educational content, how-tos? Are you going to do entertainment, like fun things? Are we going to do the inspo voice, to be inspirational and positive? You can also be the trolley voice. So if you want to raise awareness, activism, then you might go for a more challenging voice. What else do we need? The mumsy voice. Or actually, I don't like mumsy. Story time. Story time is saying things like, I once went into an organization, and this you know what story time is. It's about telling the anecdotes and teaching, often through anecdotes, different than edusocial, which could be listicles, where you give people a list of things. Kind of like what I'm doing. This is a listicle. Voice, campaigns, viral, spiked events. Campaigns start, increase, drop off, and you run them inside communities to keep building the community through the viral spiked events. Standalone campaigns I don't tend to work with too much. Working with social influencers, I think the influencers here, it's a relationship thing, isn't it, really? Building the relationship in the distribution. Thanks, James. Campaigns. Oh, rituals, rites of passage. I'd probably put memes in here as well. The strategy document doesn't document today's memes. It just identifies working with what the community sees as being an urgent issue. It looks really tone deaf if you say something like, come into our store, and it's the middle of a pandemic, it's the middle of a bushfire, it's the middle of a flood. Like, you have to look for and identify those kind of rites of passage, social psychology things, so that you are not tone deaf. And then I'll also put that in for the EPG. So a ritual for mums is they're getting the kids ready for work on Monday morning, for school on Monday morning. So don't post for mums on Monday mornings unless you absolutely know that they are looking at their phone between 8 and 9. If they've already dropped the little munchkins off, then you're all good, but just check your numbers. I'm just going to put one here, own versus borrowed. What will happen is there'll be way too many audiences and way too many reasons for connecting to those audiences. So then you have to choose whether you're going to own the channel and build your own channel, your own Facebook group, your own Facebook page, your own Instagram account, or whether you're going to use influencers or joint venture partners or local media or something like that to borrow their audiences and ask them to post stuff on their pages. It's a super popular question. I can't manage all of those pages. What should I do? So we talk about splitting up, borrowing other people's connections. This is the last one because I really have to go. I've got some private Zooms coming up. I thought if I got everything ready for the private Zooms, I might as well do a public broadcast. And I don't know, that was such a great idea, but we'll see. Engagement. Talent manager. This is another kind of job. I mean, I think influencer relationship management is the PR agency reaching out to influencers and negotiating whatever. Engagement is different. That can be, for instance, goodie boxes that you just send out and then you don't put any kind of criteria around it. So the Boxy Charms of the world, book boxes, food boxes, there's all kinds. The talent manager works directly for the influencer and then works with the influencer relationship manager to come to some sort of a deal. And, you know, normally they have experience as an influencer relationship manager and then they come to work for the talent themselves. They might take a clip of every deal that they organize, and the influencers will have a strong idea about what they want from their talent manager. There's been some hideous stories, but we don't have time for story time today. Lobbying is, you know, government and that kind of thing, knowing how to use social media to lobby. And did I fill in everything here? Entertainment. I just want to check a few things. I think that's everything. So if you take the 3 sectors, I would say, 4, I would take corporate, government, non-profit, small business, and then see if there are specialists in each of those. And then if you're in small business, you might want to look for an industry specialist, but recognize that they're working with your frenemies as well. Oh, I do want to put one in here. Excuse me. Talking too much. Virtual assistant is a specialist role, but they're usually working for the moderator or the content creator. So they're simply manually posting what the others have done. Now, some virtual assistants call themselves virtual assistants, but they're not. They do all these other things as well. And I always feel like saying to them, you really should think about, I don't know, saying virtual assistant and Facebook ads or something else. Just because the virtual assistant industry itself needs a rebrand, they know that the value that they offer, but it's not necessarily clear to the general public the value of a virtual assistant. So maybe somebody could do a social media marketing campaign for virtual assistants that do social media. Let me just switch back to here. Right. That's I think I've got a feeling there's like 50 other things I should put on this spreadsheet. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll have another think about it. I'll add some stuff to it, put it up online, and then you guys can all just tell me off for not having included your personal favorite type of social media manager job. I will say that social media currently sits under marketing and PR, but I do expect that to shift under customer service, with marketing and PR and then HR taking on employer branding, marketing and PR taking on social media marketing and PR stuff, and feeding it through customer service. I'm not 100% sure why marketing departments took on customer service roles, but there you go, they did. Just remember that while the company wants to do marketing and sales through their channels, the customer doesn't line up to speak to marketing and PR. They're there for customer service. So these changes are already happening and have happened in like large organizations. So many of the jobs I've shown you today will be split up and put under different departments. And then every so often you will find somebody who wants one person to do all of them. And I mean, like, that's a little bit crazy to want people to do video editing and content calendars and writing analytics and insights and doing social ads. And you can, and I've certainly have. And I mean, one of the reasons why I do it is because I've been doing this for 20 years, so it's interesting for me to go in depth and explore. But there is a point where I say to the client, you need to go to an agency for your Facebook ads. Like, it's clear that you need a specialist in this area, or go and find a journalist or a writer to help you with your content creation for your blog posts, because it's going to need a lot of in-depth research and understanding of how to write for the web and SEO for the web and things like that. So understanding all of the things because you have a passion for social media is awesome, but definitely find those verticals that I listed, the agency one, the government one, the non-for-profit one, and then mark out where your passion is. What do you love to do? Do you love to engage with the community? Do you love to do Instagram photos? Do you like the analytics side? Do you like report writing? Where are you on that? All right, I have to love you and leave you. I got told off the other day for not putting this up, so I'm not supposed to spend a lot of time doing broadcasts and social media without mentioning that I do. Did they go up? No, I didn't. There we go. That I do Zooms and courses and things like that. Not 100% sure that slide is coming up, but really, who cares? Any more comments? Nope. So if you're still around, bye Wild, bye Paul, bye Vintuitive, bye James. And I will see you in my next session. Thanks.